Hey everyone, Seba here and welcome to Medibang Pro. So recently I've been asked on how to work a tablet. Now I'm not sure what that means per se, but I'll try my best to tell you. So a tablet is just like a little thing that you draw on that connects your kind of like this drawing thing. And you connect it to your computer so you can draw on it like this. Having said that, there's no actual way to like work it, I guess. It's just like something you draw on, right? I have my pen, I connect it to my computer, I just draw on it. Now really what you want to get to is art applications. So I use Medibang Pro. I recently used Krita, but that program started to overcomplicating things and it made it harder to record. And so I switched back to Medibang Pro because it's easier. It's simpler and it's a lot smoother to draw and record on. So yeah, let's start off with the basics. You know, you got pen tool and you got an eraser tool, and they're pretty self-explanatory. I recommend using Medibang Pro for beginners. It's free, it's good, it's easy to use, and it's not super complicated. And one of the reasons why it's not super complicated is that it doesn't have so many brushes that will confuse you. Because when you first start off with this, you might get confused with all the layout and setup. This one is not confusing whatsoever. So the brushes are pretty easy to use. You just click on one that you want to use, and they're just basically different styles you want to work on. You can use one for sketching. You can use one for design, use one for inking in. There's a whole bunch of random ones. A lot of fun to mess around with. Stipple pen, Asumi, watercolor. Oops. Well, you can see here that you can customize them what you like with that. Damn it. The wet water one. This rotation one is not very. I don't use it for anything, but it's pretty cool. You just kind of move your mouse around and do things. Acrylic is the one I use a lot for painting in, because I do enjoy that. Look at that. Airbrushing, pretty nice. The smudge. This is not a drawing. It's more like a, hey, let's manipulate this. Oh, look at that over there. Let's manipulate that. Oh, look at that. See this? Wow, it's gone now. Blur is same thing, except different tactic there. Just blur things up. Yeah, sparkle brush. Again, this is another one that's pretty cool. I don't really use it much, but it's just there. Okay, so you got. Stop it. You got an eraser that's soft, so you can have like this soft edge there. You see that? So you can erase softly. And then the eraser that's hard, that's just, you know, sharp on erasing things. So there you go. Now you know all the brushes. Now I'm getting to some more hard stuff. Here's the color wheel. It's pretty self-explanatory. You go up the scale of the rainbow. I think it's the rainbow. I don't remember. So yeah, you can pick your color here. You can pick what's your brightest saturation. You can pick less saturated. You can go from light to dark, dark to light. That's my brush preview. I don't know. You can move things around. That's like this. And then you can put it over here. You put it over there if you want to. It's just something useful to have. Why do you do that? Please go back to your original state. There we go. Here's the brush size, so you can pick how big or how small you want the brush. This is opacity layer, so basically, if I were to draw just a line, hold on, there we go. If I were, oh, I have the eraser on, that's why. If I were to draw a line like that, right, there it is, and I bring down the opacity, it makes it like less existing? No, it makes it transparent. It makes it more transparent. So the lower you put it, the more transparent it becomes. So yeah, that's a useful thing to use. And you got all these tools here. You got a mover tool that just moves around things that you have selected. You have a paint tool where you just cover the whole thing. I recommend using the Control Z command, which basically is it's an undo. But if you're not into that, you can have these arrows. So forward, backwards. Gradients, you pick the color you want to use. Go from bottom up or bottom down. What? And it does that. Here's selecting tools. You have a square select, right? You have a lasso select. And to deselect things, you just Control D. Not going to get to all of these, but here's a color picker. This one just basically picks the color white, black, white, black, white, black, gray. And here is something you might use. I don't use it. It is a text box. You just basically do that. Type in what you want to say. You can pick the font or whatever. You can pick the size. You can pick the edge color. You can pick the text color. You can do a lot of things. You can rotate it. Just click OK, and now it's there. Here's a shape tool. It's like, oh wait, let me get, yeah. It's like that. Let me do a shape. Let me do a line like this. There you go. And then you can do squares, circles, hexagons. I mean, I don't use this, but people do. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I got it. No, don't. It's gone. You got these little snap things. Basically guidelines you can use for stuff. I like to use this one. It's a cool guideline. Yeah. Let's see what else. Okay, well, let's get on to more complicated things. Something you should learn if you're getting into photos, any type of photo manipulation, drawing. By the way, here's a navigator. You can move it around the screen. You click this button right here. Full. You can zoom in. You can zoom out. You can change the degree. Ooh, look at that. It's having so much fun. Oh my god. Okay, so here's the layers tab, and the layers are actually pretty cool. So how it works is that I will have this bottom layer. I can do whatever I want in it, and I have the top layer. It would go over that. So whatever layers on top is going to be the dominant layer. So I could do what most people do line art here of this guy right here, and then go down here, grab the color, and then just color it in, and it won't mess up my line art. Look at that. There's that thing too, by the way, the color select. It's not very useful though. So yeah, you can do that. Another thing I like to do is the opacity layer. There is opacity layer on the layer section, so you can do this and make things more transparent or less transparent. Okay, so if you want to know something that's really cool, let's get rid of that text, have a clean slate across our page. Want to know something that's really cool is this clipping thing. So basically, if I have this here and I clip it down to here, anything I draw here, say this, whatever this is, and then just maybe I'm like, let's color that in. I come up here and click the clipping, so now it's clipped to this layer below that. So now every time I pick a different color, it will not go off the layer below that. So you see, I can draw all over that all I want, but it'll only be on the whatever I drove below it. So that'd be really cool for any things you don't want to go over with. You want to protect it. So that's basically the basics. I hope you guys did enjoy that. Don't excuse me, I got my own project I'm working on, so it's not done yet, so don't bother me, okay? If you did enjoy my channel, I'll see you guys next time. If you did enjoy me, maybe consider subscribing, maybe just a little bit. If you like my videos, there's a notification button just for you, and you like this video. Why did you hit that like button? What is this guy gonna do? Look at him, he's so sad. So sad. Leave a comment if you guys want to talk. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.